Channel. We're taking a break. When we return, we'll talk about the World AIDS Day. In fact, the National AIDS Commission is out with a caution to the general public. In fact, let's get to that conversation now. Joining us is the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chirome Tuahene. There are a number of activities happening leading to, today, where the AIDS Commission is sending a message out to the general public about the need, for awareness creation and all others. Director General, thank you for joining us here on The Pulse. First of all, what's that clarion call to the youthful population, and what would you want them to know about the World AIDS Day?
Thank you, Blessed, for having me, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Yes, as you know, the December 1st is designated by the UN as the World AIDS Day, and on that day, we create awareness about the epidemic, and we also take stock of what we have achieved so far, the challenges we are having, and what we need to do to end AIDS, because we have the tools, we have the strategies, we have the policies that can enable us end AIDS by the year 2030. But the one critical issue is risky behaviors that Ghanaians are involved in, which invariably expose them to HIV infection. And so our call to young people is the fact that more and more young people are becoming sexually active, and unfortunately they do not use protection, and here I mean condom. And one major concern is the fact that they are having multiple concurrent sexual partners, and that is a big problem, because that is a high-risk behavior, and that has the high potential of exposing them to HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. And so our call to young people is that, yes, we are still preaching the ABC methods of prevention. It is better for young people not to engage in sex. And that is the best way of protecting oneself, because sexual activity accounts for about 80% of new infections in the country. And therefore, young people are encouraged to abstain from sex. That stands for A. A stands for abstinence, sorry. B, if you cannot abstain, then it is important for you to find somebody who doesn't have HIV. And of course, you must not have it as well. Both of you should test to know that you are both HIV negative. And then be faithful to each other. As long as you continue to do that, then you are you don't have any problem. But if you cannot do any of the two, then you have to use condom correctly and consistently anytime you have sex.
In the last few days, we've been seeing, a number of figures being put out there. So many figures, and I've seen flyers all over the place talking about varied numbers. There's that for the Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region. I mean, just walk us through the regional breakdown, if you do have the time, at least for the, let's say, flashpoints, if we should be describing them as such, of the kind of surge in numbers that we're seeing, giving, the updates in terms of the numbers. What can you share with us?
Well, what we know is that HIV is across all the 16 regions of the country. So the region with the highest prevalence are mainly those in the south and the middle belt. So you have Bono region, you have Eastern, you have Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western, Ahafo, and these Of course, Volta is also featuring prominently recently. And it is important that we all recognize that the HIV is still a problem in this country, and therefore everybody has to take, the necessary precautions. And so the regional breakdown in terms of prevalence. Let's start with, in terms of prevalence, we have one sec. Yes, Greater Accra. Let's talk about Greater Accra first. Greater Accra has the largest HIV population, followed by Ashanti, and I think it is understandable that Greater Accra and Ashanti have the largest share of the Ghanaian population. So obviously you are most likely to find more HIV cases in these regions. But when it comes to new infections, we're seeing more number of new infections in Greater Accra, in Ashanti, Eastern region, Bono, and the rest.
All right. Thanks for the update. That's the Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Chiroma Tuahine. Also joining the conversation now is Queen Lady Nana Yaa Nsako, Miss Malaika 2023, who's using the power of her activism to promote awareness around the situation. She's working in collaboration with the Ghana AIDS Commission to try as much as possible to promote awareness and education on this. Thank you so much, Nana Nsako, for joining us. Let's start off with what you plan to do now that you are, partnering the AIDS Commission to champion awareness.
Much for this wonderful opportunity. I'd like to say a very big thank you to the Director General for the Ghana AIDS Commission, Ms. Malaika Ghana, and you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. First of all, as a queen, my duty is to give back to the society because I am the representation of the youth. And so, yes, I'm supposed to give back to the society. And for Ms. Malaika, you're supposed to choose a project to do. I decided to choose HIV because of the fact that the numbers keep going up. And by doing so, I decided to embark on a campaign called the Live On campaign to reawaken the awareness of HIV using edutainment. And so.
Okay, we seem to be having some challenges with the connection there. We'll just try to re-establish connections to these two individuals. And apologies for that. You were just talking about your roadmap and what you intend to do. Share that with us as you speak about edutainment, which is one of the key aspects in terms of the focus that you have in driving awareness around HIV/AIDS. And Director General Tuahine is also with us. Director General, this is much more about the youthful population of the country, and of course, interventions such as getting icons and people to join forces to promote awareness is something that should be key to the AIDS Commission. What more are you doing beyond partnerships with the likes of Nana Yaa Nsako?
So what we are doing is, first of all, to work with all the various youth organizations, the National Youth Authority, the National Service Scheme, the Youth Employment Agency, and we are going to extend it to the Youth Start and all the places where we can find young people to work with. And these young people will be engaged by their own kind, who are influencers, who are mentors, who are role models, to really get them to understand the issues about HIV, the risk that they take, that leading to, infections among them. And sadly, we continuously receive calls from young people who are crying that they are infected, they've been diagnosed, and that they don't know how it happened. Some of them, it's just one time sexual encounter, and they got it. And so it is themselves to define how they would want to address the HIV problem. That is why Ms. Malaika has come on board. So the young people will be engaging each other and try to work out how they can, keep themselves out of this problem. Because we expect that with the technologies we have, the drugs, the medications, the programs and everything, it should be possible for us not only to end AIDS, but also to have a generation free of HIV. And if we can achieve that, we need to work with the young people.
I see.
Because they account for about a third of new infections in the country.
There's the question about funding and how you're intending to raise more funds in terms of your campaign going forward. But first, let me just try one more time to see if we can reconnect with Queen Lady Nanaya Nsako, Ms. Malaika 2023. You were just talking about edutainment there, a key focus for your campaign going forward in terms of creating awareness. How do you intend to do that?
Hello?
We can, yes, loud and clear. We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. So I will be embarking on a behavior change campaign targeting adolescents and young women in schools and out of school. And by doing so, we are going to develop TV skits using edutainment on YouTube, TV shows. We are going to throw challenges at the youth to create the awareness or to reawaken the awareness on HIV in Ghana.
I see. And of course, you started by also working with the Ghana AIDS Commission. So what message do you have for the youthful population, especially those who are watching us now, in terms of what you'd want them to know about the HIV AIDS condition, and what more education are you providing on that?
Yes, I want them to know that if you have unprotected sex, you are putting yourself at a higher risk of getting HIV. And now it's evidence that HIV is not a death sentence, because when we find out that you have HIV, you are put on antiretroviral medication, but then that shouldn't give you the chance to do whatever you like engaging in risky sexual behaviors and all that. And so we are going to be advising the youth. We are going to be organizing shows to reawaken the awareness on HIV. And are you with me?
Yes, I'm right here. So if you could just land on that point for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also want us to touch on, the point about what you're doing now, using the power of your influence, as a beauty queen to drive change and to push the agenda. Are you expecting that more people in your space, in the creative arts industry at least, will join that fray and to push for more education?
Yes, please. As I said earlier, I'm now the face of the youth. As the Miss Malaika Queen, my duty is to give back to the society, is to bring everyone together. I'm now a role model for them. And so as I'm embarking on this project, they are going to listen to me. They are going to take what I say. Yeah.
I see. Any final message for our viewers, parents out there, and also for young girls who are aspiring to just be like you are? This is the opportune time to educate them about the issues of that you're pointing out to having unprotected sex and its likely risk that comes with it. What message would you like to leave these young girls with?
Yes, we, the youth, are the future of Ghana. We need to come together and make a change. We need to take good care of ourselves. We need to be conscious of the things we do because HIV is still in the system. The fact that you don't see the scary pictures we were seeing growing up doesn't mean there's nothing like HIV. You need to, if you are going to have sex, you need to protect yourself. You don't need to engage in risky sexual behaviors because it comes at a cost. You are going to bear the consequences. And also, HIV is not the end of the world. If you engage or if you find out that you've been exposed to HIV, there are so many things that can be done to help you. And so we should all rise up, we should all come out of our shelves, get tested so that we can be attended to.
And we wish you all the very best in your campaign. Let me wrap up with you, Director General, the point about funding and going forward. What would you want the general public to know about the kind of support you need and where you would want that to come from?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yesterday, because the World AIDS Day coincides with the Farmers' Day, we did a national Deba at the forecourt of State House. And on behalf of His Excellency, the President of Ghana, who happens to be the chairman of the commission, announced to Ghanaians that government is going to provide the needed budgetary support for the HIV response. But as we know, the burden of the financing HIV is much bigger than the funds available to support it. And considering the challenging fiscal situation we have in the country, government cannot do it all. And it is not only Ghana where government is unable to do it all. In many countries in Africa and Asia, the private sector contributes, individuals contribute, especially those who are in businesses, as well as those in formal employment, they contribute to the AIDS fund. Some countries call it AIDS Trust Fund. There are various models or funding streams that countries have developed, and it's a similar one that we have also developed. And one of the platforms we are using is the USSD code, star 9898 hash, which was launched by Honorable Chief of Staff on behalf of the President yesterday at the Deba. And so star 9898 hash on MTN and Vodafone, you can use that and follow the prompt and donate any amount that you can give to the response in support of the response. And so we commend to every Ghanaian that HIV is a problem. And Blessed, let me make this point. We always talk about the youth because we know the critical issues about the youth so far as HIV is concerned. But majority of the people who are infected in this country are within the most economically active population. And that has serious implications for the country. And so HIV is an industry issue, it's a business issue, it's agricultural issue, it's educational issue, it's an issue that affects the workplace, affects everybody. And so we all have to work together in contributing to support the national HIV and AIDS response. We need to save lives. We need to prevent new infections, reduce new infections to the barest minimum, and end AIDS deaths and vertical transmission from mother to babies in this country. All these are possible to achieve. All we need is behavior change and funding. If we have these two, we definitely by 2030, we will end AIDS.
And we're grateful that you're spending some time with us, Director General of the AIDS Commission, Dr. Chairman Ito Ahene, joining us here on the polls. And we're taking a break here. When we get back, indeed, we are your election headquarters. The race is heating up for the governing New Patriotic Party's parliamentary primaries in 113 constituencies. We'll tell you about what's happening and also have some conversations with aspirants going into the elections. Please stay.